Welcome back, everybody. It's Lisa G. If you're new here, welcome to my little corner of the internet where we get crafty and have fun making little bits of goodness for our junk journals. So very excited to have each of you with me today, and I want to thank you so much for everything that you do and for joining me and crafting with me, okay? I hope you will enjoy creating with me today. I've got a cute little project for you that I think you're going to have a lot of fun with. I've got some different variations that I can show you, so we're going to get started real quick. This is basically a little ephemera holder that I have created. I was going back through some things. Let me take these out so you can see what we've got here. It's stuffed full of things, but it's its own pocket. It creates a pressure pocket, for lack of a better term. Oops. And see how much stuff is stuffed in here, and it's just a super cute little idea that you can put together and make little ephemera holders with, and they are perfect for Happy Mail. This one I made, I used cardstock, just some thick cardstock, and I printed an image that I created on Canva, and I just printed it out on my paper and sized it down. And then I created the little vellum pocket. I don't know if you can see that. That goes over the top. Okay, and it's got this little pocket, and it's got this little pocket. Okay, so you got this, you got this, and you got this. Okay, and this one goes all the way up to here. Okay, so I'll show you how I folded this to create these little pockets. And you can go back and you can make these yourself, okay? So you know, you would be amazed at how much stuff you can fit in this little guy. And you can spread it out, you know, and make it real fun so you can see all your different pieces and, you know, add some cute little stuff, you know. There's this guy, you can add him in like so. And, you know, and then you've got this pocket back here. You can, you know, add a couple of tall things too if you want to. And then, here, let's put him back in here because that's good size for him. And then, you know, you've got all these little things that you can put in these pockets. And, you know, there's a couple of different ways you can do it. I did this one a long time ago, and I think I've found a better way to make my pockets stand out. So I'll show you that little idea. And, you know, you can just add all these things in and make them to where, you know, each one of them stands out. And you can, you know, just layer pieces all over the place. Okay. And, you know, when you get done playing and get things kind of situated the way you want them, hang on, let me get these in here real quick. And like I said, you know, it's amazing how much stuff you can fit in one of these little guys. I'll slide all this. Well, let's see, how did I have him in here? Maybe they were under here. I'll have to go back and figure it out because I know he was on the back side. These long pieces were on the back. Let's take these out and see how I've got this one to where, you know, it's like a little pocket the way I've done this one on the back. But you can do them a couple of different ways. I'm going to show you another way to do this. Let's get those in there first. There we go. And then we can add our bigger pieces. We'll go in the back here. There we go. All right. And so, like I said, it creates its own little ephemera pocket. And it's a little stuffed pocket, but nothing falls out because it's, you know, it's using the pressure of all the other things in it to hold everything in place. See that? Isn't that cool? So I'm going to show you how to make one of these real quick. You can use, so I got some paint chips. We're going to do a couple like this. And I've got a card. This is like a greeting card base, you know, that you get at the craft store. And I'm going to glue this, and we're going to make a pocket for the back. And then we're going to add our vellum piece on the front here. And then we'll decorate this before we cover it with the vellum so that, you know, our design shows up. And then we'll put our vellum pocket up here, right? So we're going to do that one. And then this is like a little envelope with the closure, you know. And so we're going to maybe make one on this and, you know, put our stuff, you know, on here. And then we're going to make a couple like this. So I'll show you several different versions of this. All right, let's get started. I'm going to show you first how we fold the piece of paper. This is just a standard piece of vellum, which is 8.5 by 11, okay? And you can fold it this way and go around this, or you can turn it and you can fold it this way and go around this. And you're going to get a longer piece if you go this way. This first one I folded going this way, okay? And I measured it against this. And so it's like the perfect size to make a little pocket. And you can put a, you know, like a little decorative piece right here on your paint chip before you glue on your pocket. And then you just cut this off. If you want to, you can fold it over like this. And you can have one on each side. Okay? So there's lots of variations to be done with this little idea. And just, you know, roll with it and have fun. I'm going to show you how to do your folds on this piece of paper here. And you can go from there, okay? And just play with this idea and tell me what you think. I hope you'll leave me some comments below. Also, I would love it if you would subscribe. So hit that subscribe button if you want to come back and see me again. I'd love to have you. And I hope you enjoy this project. And I'd love to hear your comments about it if you have any ideas, okay? All right, so taking our piece of paper, we want to figure out about how deep we want that first front pocket here, right? So, and it's this one back here, this first pocket. And so I usually start and I go about right here, okay? So you want to take your paper and you want to fold it up however deep you want that first pocket. And I just use the edge of my paper to line it up. We want it, let's go, let's see. We need to give it some room to put on our page. Okay, so I'm going to go about right there. All right, and we're going to go across here. And you want to get a nice sharp crease. Here, that's too big. I always try to grab that great big one first. I don't know why. But we want a nice sharp crease on this. Okay. And then we want to fold it back down, like so, on itself. Now let's give it a little more room. There we go. Okay, and again, we're going to crease really nice. All right, and there's our first little pocket, okay? And then we're going to fold this up again to get our second pocket and to get our pressure pocket under here, okay? So this one's going to be not near as deep Okay, there's that. Okay, and then we're going to fold it back down one more time. And then we could even go one more. Well, no, because that's going to cover our pressure pocket if we do that. All right, so we got this pocket, we got this pocket, this little shelf. And yeah, let's do this. Yeah, yep, we can do that. All right, let's create one more little shelf pocket. All right, we can, oops, we can make this work. I think I'm a little bit off. There we go. All right. I think that's close enough. Okay. So now, when we lay this on our, say we're going to put it on this one, okay, and make our little shelf. We've got this guy, and this guy. We can even make this back here a pocket, okay? And then we've got a pocket up under here, like a shelf that goes to here. And then you've got, you know, the underneath of the pocket, all right? So that's going to give you multiple layers. And if you do it just like that, I think that will look pretty cool. So we're going to try that idea. And then we're also going to use that same idea to do one of these and go across this way. Okay, so stick with me real quick and we're going to play with this idea. And I've got a couple of things I had already pulled out. And on this one, let me show you this real quick. On this one, I just took it and I folded it once up. Okay, so once up like that. And then once down like that to make that first little pocket, okay? And then I folded it just back up once, right here. And then this piece, I folded over exactly in half on the piece previous. And I'm going to glue this whole thing down to itself, like, you know. And that way, you've got your pressure pocket up under here, okay? If that makes sense. You should have what looks like this when you do your folds, okay? And on this, it will look like this, okay? All right. So we're going to go and make our projects here. This guy, I had found this and I thought this would be really pretty sitting on that edge right here. And then I want to take this piece and I want to just, we might do this one. This one might work better for this one because I like the way it sits kind of like right in the middle of that second panel. See that? Right there. And then that looks kind of cute. So we're going to do that. And this is a pet sticker, so I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to kind of put it over the top of that name and just off to that edge. And And if you want, you can ink your card, or, you know, and you can ink the edge of this if you want this to show up, right? Okay. I'm going to mark this one real quick. Just right where the edge is. So I can cut it. And we'll cut it to the exact size. Probably should have gone from the bottom there. There we go. That's not too bad. All right. And we shall glue these sides right here down. So you want to go through and you want to glue your edges here. Well, got to get your glue to come out first. All right. So you just want to go up through here and glue your edges. It's going to kind of run a little bit, so have you a piece of paper towel handy. It's always good to have a piece of paper towel handy. And just use this and kind of squish out that extra glue that you don't need. Okay. That one squished a little too much. There we go. Okay. Let that dry for a second. And then we're going to glue right here, just this edge. I'll go out with it, not in. That's the lesson learned there. Okay. And then we need to do it one more time right here. You want to do the back so that you don't over glue and get your glue up here. Okay. So, all right, let's let that dry for just a second. I think we also need to glue right here. It is puckering just a little bit, but I think by the time it gets dry, it'll be fine. Okay. All right. And then when we glue this down, it's going to create a little pocket, okay? And here, we'll take a, whoops. We'll take, get all that back out of the way there. This, and make a little pull tab at the top. Try to center it there. There we go. And like so. All right, let's see. Let's just go ahead and glue that down. And we need to glue the bottom. And down this edge. Try to use as little glue as you can with these, because apparently this villain is trying to warp. Okay. All right, we're gonna let that one dry for a little bit. See how it does. Okay. Set that one back there. Alright, for this guy, I thought we might put this on there and kind of edge the, like a tag, right? And then we'll take our vellum and we'll go across just like this so that those flowers are sort of like a little surprise back there. But you still have this pocket, and you'll have this pocket, and you'll have this pocket, okay? And on this guy, the way I did this, we need to, and you know what, I think I might use, hang on, let me find some tape, double-sided tape. Where are you? There we go. Alright, let's run some tape down through here. So that this piece stays together, okay? Okay. All right. So that way, that is sealed, and then you just have your pressure envelope. I mean your pressure pocket up under there. See? All right. So we're gonna glue this guy down. And I'm not going to glue it all the way down. I'm just, I want it to kind of stand up a little bit and be frayed and, just in general have its own little bit of personality in the background there. And we're going to just center it up, press it down. Okay, we'll let that dry for just a second. And we'll come back to it in a minute. All right, I'm going to show you this guy next. And with this guy, I think I will do the same and create myself a little notch about middle. Okay. And for this one, I'm gonna do the edges real quick. I just want to make it stand out a little bit. And you only have to do around the outside edge here, however much you want to. It doesn't have to be a lot of shading, just enough to make it stand out a little bit. Okay, give it a little antique-y vibe. Alright. And then you can do the back if you want to, but when you create this pocket, really, you can glue this down if you want to. And you can do a couple of different versions. If you want to cut this down, just one hair like this, and you want to glue this side down, you can do a little notch in that piece you cut off right here. And you can also do one here. Okay, here, I'm going to show you. Hang on just a second. Alright. So, you're going to take your card, here's your card, and you're going to get your cutter, and you're going to open it up like this, okay? And wherever your, however tall you want it to be, you want to take about, I'd say about that much, okay? And just go to this line right here. Alright, and then you can take your scissors and you're just going to cut this off, okay? And just try to make it, you know, even with the edge of your card. Alright? Like so. And then you're going to do this. And this. Right? And so then when you do it, and you're going to glue down here, and then when you do this, you're going to have a double pocket, okay? Because you're going to glue this down right around here. Does that make sense? So you got this, and you got this. Okay? And just, you know, make sure you got all your little edges. My little thing is starting to come apart. I need to get a new one. Time to graduate to a new dauber. See how easy that is to create that little pocket? A little double pocket. Just like so. And we're going to just go across two sides here. We're going to go here. And here. I'll glue that down. Okay. And we can decorate this a little bit before we glue it the rest of the way. Okay, this one, we're just going to go, again, down through here. I did not get that straight at all. Okay. And let those dry for a minute. Okay. And there's two. That's going to be a pocket here. Just one big pocket. And then we're going to add our outside pockets. Okay. So let's let that dry for just a minute. Make sure that one's good. And then we have this guy. So let me find something to put. Let's do... Let me find a big sticker for this. Hang on just a second. Alright, so here's my envelope. And I went and I created this. And I love this. I'm going to make a copy of this before I glue down my pocket to it. But this is just a beautiful little thing. The Be Happy Attitudes, which is the Beatitudes. Beatitudes, whatever you want to call them. So I want to share that with you. If you want to take a picture of that and then go back and read it, it's a really nice little sentiment. Okay. But I'm going to glue this down, and then I'm going to add a butterfly just like that. And then our pocket will go across like this. Okay. So first things first, we're going to go back and ink the edges of this just a little bit, just to give it some antique-y vibe. I just, you know, I thought this was a beautiful sentiment. This book was damaged when I found it, and I knew it was going to end up in the trash heap, and, you know, it had a lot of nice things in it, and so, you know, I saved a few that meant something special to me so that I could use them in craft projects, you know. That's the one beautiful thing about thrifting. You find something, and, you know, I got the book for a nickel. Like, literally. I think I found it at a yard sale, actually. And the lady, you know, she was like, you can just have it. I was like, no, I'll give you something for it. And she's like, okay, how about a nickel? So I got it super cheap. I just figured, you know, if somebody took all that time to get their, you know, stuff together to have a yard sale, you should at least give them something for all their hard work. And I did buy a few other things just so I didn't spend a nickel, you know. She was very sweet, though. All right, we're going to do this, and then we'll go around the outside. That's a song, isn't it? Around the outside, around the outside. All right. Glue that down there. Like so. And then we're going to go around the outside. And the beauty of this one is that you have this side and you can, you know, open this pocket and store things inside. But you're also creating some little pockets for outside for yourself. Okay. And you don't have to have a lot of ink. You know, it's gonna stand out nicely on its own. And you can do front and back if you want to. That's totally up to you. Okay. And then, so you've got over here, we need to tie this down, don't we? We'll tie it down like so. And I do tend to do a knot so it won't come unraveled at some point. But I like to leave the little tail, so there you go. Okay. And then, so you've got this, and I always like to make a little thumb notch, like so. Just line it up. Okay. And again, you can, you know, go in here and do this. So everything matchy-matchy. Make it, you know, make that pocket stand out. Okay. And, you know, you can go in and do all these edges. Because it's really, you know, it's going to add to the vintagey vibe of it, of the whole thing. Alright. And we can, you know, go and do all these. Let's just run down through here real quick. There we go. Alright. I guess we probably need a little more on that edge. There we go. Okay. That makes our little thing stand up, stand out. Oh, here. Let's do right here too. So our top edge stands out. Funny how your brain works, huh? Alright. So then we got this. Okay. And it's like one of those, what do they call it? Document folders. Okay. So there's that. And then, hang on, I'm going to go scan this real quick into my computer, and I'll be right back. Alrighty. We are going to add this guy right here. I thought he was really, really pretty. We're just going to put him right there. Okay. And then we shall take this and put it right across through here. And then we'll have our, you know, pocket back here, pocket here, and pocket here. And if we wanted to, well, let's see. Let's actually give it some room. We'll go let's go across the middle with this one. And it doesn't give you quite as much room for underneath, but it does give you a little room. So, yep, we'll go about there. I don't know. Does it make more sense to go down here? Doesn't give you a very deep pocket. Yeah, I think we'll go middle of the road here. Okay. Let's see. Why don't we do this on this one? And we'll make that. Yep, let's do that. And if we have to, we'll make some more vellum. Alright, let's do that on this one. Go ahead and cut it here. Okay. We won't do that pressure pocket on this one. We'll make this one just our 3 pocket, like this. Okay. So, let's go back and we'll have to glue. Let's try to use just a little, so maybe it won't pucker this time. Okay. And we'll put some here. Maybe we should do it from this side. Alright, let's go here. And here. And then we will do here. And here. Okay. I'll let those dry for just a minute. Okay. And then we're going to glue those right on there. And again, I think I'll do just a little thumb notch right here in the middle. And let's darken that just a hair to stand out against our page. I'll go ahead and do these edges just a hair. I'll give it a nice finished antique vibe. And the beauty of this guy is going to be you're going to have this pocket on the outside, and then you're going to have this pocket to put bigger things in. So that's kind of cool, huh? All right. Let's go across here a little better. Across here a little better. There we go. Okay, that gives that sort of a vintagey vibe, doesn't it? Alright, and then we do need to glue here for this guy so it stays down. Okay. All right, and then we're gonna Go all the way down, all the way across, all the way down. Okay. We're going to put that right to the edge. Alright, we're going to let that one dry. Okay? Isn't that cute? And if you want, you can go back and you can... I should have done that before I glued it down. So you can see your different layers of pockets. There we go. Now you can see your different layers of pockets. So we have, let me find one of my little small ones here. So I got this pocket, this pocket, this pocket, and this pocket. Okay? And this pocket on the back, right? So this can be like a little floating thing that you stick in an actual pocket of your journal. Okay, and you can go back and put all your little ephemera in here. You know, you've got plenty of room to stack things however you like. You know, you got plenty of room. And then, you know, you stack it however you want. And the more you stack, the more it's, you know, it like keeps itself in there. You can turn sideways, you can do this. If you want one out here. And then you've got, you know, this guy back here. Okay. Alright, there's that one. Alright, this guy. We've got our pocket here. Okay, and if you glue down these three sides, you can create a pocket back here. Okay, this guy, no, let's see, it was this one we decided to do. And we're gonna go right across here. And I think I might take just a hair off the back of this so that this comes down just a little bit. Like maybe here. Okay. Maybe not that far. Let's go about there. Maybe a hair further. Okay, let me cut this one. And then we're going to cut the top off just a notch. Okay. Alright, let's go back and let's try. Okay, we did put that one down. Now, let's try. I'm going to use this. Let me see if I have skinnier. I think I have some 1/8 inch. Okay, I cannot find my skinnier tape. So I am going to just cut off a piece and make me some skinnier tape. I'm going to try to cut this one right down the center. Just make sure that sticks real good so I don't pull it back off again. And it's going to be okay. If there's a tiny gap there, it'll be fine. Nobody's ever going to notice. That's a whole lot easier. There we go. And now we're going to lay this right down here. Okay. And there is a little multiple pocket file. Okay. And then, of course, if you glue it, you know, around here, you're going to have that pocket back there, too. So on this one, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. Okay? 6 pockets in that little puppy. Isn't that a cute idea? Okay? Play with that one. Let me know how you do. And you can decorate this like I would do. If I'm going to do this again, I'm probably going to put some book page on the back. And then maybe a piece of scrapbook paper on the front one. And that way it'll kind of contrast with each other. Might be cute. Or even scrapbook paper here and book page here. So this kind of frames the book page. But we'll try that again. We'll try this project again on another day and we'll decorate it up, okay? All right. We have fun, fun, fun. Let's see. Let me go back to these. Let's see how much. Not quite big enough for that. Almost, yeah. That's probably good. I can do that one. Let's use the yellow. I like the yellow. I'll go back and find a nice sticker, big sticker. You know, we could use something like this guy. Hang on a second. Yep, he's going to fit perfect. So we're just going to go ahead. We're going to ink this white part so it doesn't stand out so much. And where you see white, just go ahead and ink that. Really darken that up so it doesn't stand out underneath your vellum. Okay. I'll give him some dark factor there. All right, we're going to just glue him straight down. Okay. Let's glue him straight down to the middle here. We can even make him a little cockeyed. That's pretty. That looks good. And that's really going to stand out against that yellow and be so beautiful. Oops. All right. And it's just a cute little surprise for the underneath of that, and it really pops. See? And then we'll go back and we'll cut off the edge after we glued down here. Well, let's see. We're going to cut off. Let me put my glasses on here. Let me get the scissors I haven't been cutting the tape with. I'll fix that in a second here. Okay. Oops. Picked up some glue from somewhere. Alright, let me fix this just a hair. It's got just a bit of a gap there. Okay. I'm going to go back and glue all my stuff down again. I'll be right back. Alright. This one is ready to glue down. Oh, I wanted to, since I want to make the back of it a pocket too, I wanted to add this guy in the middle. I'm not going to ink this one. We're just going to leave it the way it is. Okay. But you'll be able to see, well, here, let's give just a hair right there. So you can kind of see it is a pocket. How about that? Not good for everybody? Alright, so then we're going to go and we're going to glue that right on there. Okay. There we go. And that way we have, where's my little thing here? So we got this pocket back here, this pocket, and then there is a pocket up under here that you can use, okay, for some little deeper things if you want to. All right, and then of course on this you can turn this over and you can use this piece. This was just like a piece of mat board. You can use this and you can, you know, turn it into a journaling card, or you can, you know, glue this whole thing down and also have a pocket back here, or just, you know, use this in this, like on a page or the front of a, you know, envelope or something like that. Just, you know, playtime, right? Okay. There is that one. And then we have this guy. Oh, we forgot about this guy. Let's see. Let's use... I would like to use this one because that way it's peeking up out of there. I like the way that looks. I think that's kind of cute, because that's not long enough for that anyway. So we're going to go ahead. So here's another thing you can do. Let's use our tape here. Let's see. So we know how far up to go. Right about there. Here, let me get this out of the way. We don't need that anymore. Okay. And I'm going to have to cut me some more tape. Yeah, I'm going to have to get on Amazon and see if I can't find some 1/16 inch double-sided tape. It's kind of hard to come by. I think this is like 3/8. So when you do it, I've been cutting it into 3 pieces. Let's see if it'll just tear. Yep, the rest of the way. All right. Here, let's see. Let's do it this way so we can see where we want it to start. Right there. There we go. Okay. Peel our backing off. Oops. Make sure that's on there good. There we go. Get rid of all our little scraps here. All right, let's lay one side on here, right at the edge, like so. Oh, I forgot to do that part. I'll have to go back and finish that. Let's just cut it right through here. There we go. Okay. And before I do that, I think I will pop this little guy in there. Let's see if we can squeeze it in there for that tape takes. And let's go back and do this. Okay. That. And didn't realize I didn't tape these down, which is a good thing because now I can come back and fix this part. So you can see our little pockets, and then I'll go glue all the edges down. There. Oh no, I don't want to do that. I was going to say I was going to put a little notch in it, but then, well, I guess we could. Just a tiny one. Looks a little off kilter, that's alright. Okay. Here, let's see. No, I won't be able to get those in there. But if we need to, we'll put just a hair. Oh, of course I'll dry. Gotten dry here. Left it undone too long. Let's see. Don't need much. Just a drop or two. I've got ink on my fingers, and so that's kind of adding to my mess there. There we go. Alright, then I'm going to go back and glue these down. And then we'll come back and decorate. Give me just a second. Alright, I made one more for this guy. And I think what I might do is just cover this whole front with some book page. Let's see. I kind of like that. Let's see if we can't make this work. Line that up. There we go. Okay, let me cut that. Cut it just inside those lines. Okay. Now let's see where we want that part. Let's see. Okay, so let's do here and here. And that'll give us enough space. So just above that line. And just above that line. Okay. Let's see, let's cut off that tiny little sliver right there. That is impeding our not quite, didn't quite get it. Let me use my scissors here. There we go. Okay. And we want to match up where our notch is. So that's the center. And we're just going to do a light little notch and then measure. Maybe a hair more. Let's see if that's better. Yep. I think that does pretty good. All right, let's ink this guy. Okay, coming along nicely. And then you guys can take this whole idea and just run with it. And I'm hoping right about now that you're getting some good use out of this project and getting some ideas, and you're going to run with it and go see what you can create of your own. And I would love it if you would leave me a comment down below and let me know if you're going to try this project. This one is super fun, and I think you'll really enjoy it. Oh, there I go again with the clogged up glue. When I'm crafting like that, I keep forgetting to put my little thing back in my glue, and then it starts, you know, doing its little thing and drying up. All right, let's see. Let's get this on there. There we go. All right. And then for this one, so we can still see it, I'm going to cut right across here, I think, so that our quote stands out and isn't covered up by the vellum. So let me do that real fast. And I think I'll just take off about that much right there. Okay. Now, let's do that right there. See? We'll glue that right down there. I've still got to, you know, glue all my little pockets and ink them and everything. But we're going to do that. And then I think what we might do with this one is wrap it around like that. Let's see if we can do that. I'll have to go back and do some folding. And then we can cover this side with some pretty scrapbook paper. And we can have it come to both sides, and then we can just cut this off. What do y'all think about that? I think that's kind of a cool idea, don't you? And maybe, instead of having it wrap around like that, maybe we should just do this and cut it off. And then flip it over and do the other one separate so that it doesn't gap back here. You think? I think. Yep, I think we should do that. Okay, here, we'll cut this one off right here. And then we'll be able to take the other side here. Cut it off here. Let's do that. I wonder if we cut it on this side, if it would cut easier. Oh, I think I scuffed that one. Sure did. Alright, we might have to back up and regroup here. Because I kind of messed that one up, I think. Maybe we should have gone this way instead. That's better. Alright, let me erase that pencil line there. And maybe we can make this one work still. Let me just even that up with my scissors. All right. And we will go back and ink all our edges. Yeah, that'll still work. It'll just be a little skinny on that side. It'll leave us a border for that side. And then this guy will go right there. Okay. And finish this, and I'll be right back. All right, we are ready to add these. I'll go ahead and add them on. Okay. And we're going to put that one on just like that, so it kind of still has that little bit of frame around the outside. Like so. There we go. And here's our little tag. Got pocket, 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 pocket. Now some of these are kind of shallow. That's shallow. That one's a little deeper, and then this one's the deepest in the back. See that? Okay. All right. And then for this side, let's go ahead. We'll ink around the edge again. Alright, so this is going to be like a two-sided. So let's get us a pretty piece of scrapbook paper here. Let's see, we did that on that side. Let's do... we could do something like this, and we can take our ink and kind of just darken it up a little bit, going across through there. Doesn't have to be super dark, just enough to give it that vintagey feel, that antique-y feel. And to take the stark white, I'm sure I'm making y'all bounce while I do that, aren't I? I'll try to not make you bounce too much. I'll see if that's enough. Yep. Alright, let's go ahead. And we're going to give just a gap again. Just a tiny, tiny little gap here. I'm going to draw enough of a line so I can see it when I go to cut. And there. Okay. There it is. Couldn't even see it for a minute. I'm like, where'd I put it? Alright, there's that. Let's go back and we will just ink that a little bit more on that edge. So it's inked all the way across. And then let's just go around the edges really good. And make it stand out. As a matter of fact, let's go back and use, where's my scorched timber? There it is. Let's go use scorched timber on this. Make it just a hair darker than the vintage photo that we used to antique the paper, and kind of give it a nice edge. Okay. All right. And that's going to be there. Okay. Okay. There we go. Okay. And now we add this. Do we want to add something else here? Let's see. Let me find something. Let's see what we can find in the glue book. I know we've got some big thing that we can put there. Let's see. Let's pull this out here so we can see what we can find to put on it. Do we want to use something colorful? That's kind of cool. I'll do that over the flowers. And then add this at the bottom. What do you think? Or does it blend in too much? Yeah, it does kind of blend in. Let's go with something else. Let's see. And the beautiful thing about the glue book is if you keep a glue stick close by, just put a little tack on it and just put it back. All right. I don't want something that's too garish against our black and white. Let's see. That'd be kind of cute. I feel like that's too much though. Well, let's see. That might be kind of cute. I could make that stand out against it. Yep, I think I kind of like that. We're going to roll with that. Okay. Okay, let's put that right there. What do you think? Yep, I'll put that right there. We could have turned that into a separate little pocket right there, but I didn't think about that until just now. So we're not going to do that on this one, but let's see. We're gonna go ahead and ink all the way around this guy. And around the bottom. Okay. Okay. If we need to, we'll just chop this off just a hair. So it didn't hang over the edge right there. There we go. And then just go back with here. Anchor there. There we go. All right, let's look at what we've got here. Let's see what we made. All right, we got this guy that we just finished. And we got, let's see, where's my little card that I was using? There we go. I've got a pocket here, a pocket here, pocket here. That's like a little shallow pocket, and another little shallow pocket there. Okay. And on the back side, you got little pockets here. And they're gonna, you know, you're gonna be able to get a lot of stuff in one of these. And then you have your little pocket back here that you can stick a tag in, like this guy. See that? And, you know, it can be flush with that. You can, you know, cut something off, and I'm just using this to show you how deep the pocket is. So that's pretty good. Okay. Very nice little add-on for a junk journal there. All right, we got this guy. We got pocket here, pocket here, pocket here, and a pocket back here. Okay, we can cut this off if we want to, or we can just leave it like this and put a little, you know, tag topper on it. I think that might be cute. You can also add, like, you know, some stamping or some washi tape, or, you know, a little word that says like blessed, or, you know, memories or something like that. Might be cute right here in this corner. We'll probably do that. I'll probably go back and decorate these and then take pictures so you can see them. All right, this guy got here, 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 and then we also have one down here. Okay, that goes all the way up to there. Can you see that? Okay, and then we have this guy. Pocket here, and if you glue it here, you'll have a pocket back here, and you got pocket here, 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 and here. Okay, it's a nice little multi pocket there. And again, you know, I think next time I would add, like, you know, some scrapbook paper on this back side, some book page on this side, and then, you know, put this on top of it. And we got this guy, and this one just has a sticker on the bottom, and then you have, I should have inked the pockets on this so you could see them, but you've got a pocket there, pocket there, pocket here, and a pocket back here. Okay, and you can add all kinds of little goodies. This one's a little shallow pocket, so I would, you know, put stuff that you can, like, lay like that, like sideways or something, you know. Okay, and then last but not least, we have this guy, and this is the one that's the envelope, so you can open it up and stick things inside. And then you have pocket, 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 shallow pocket, and another shallow pocket. So, you know, again, these are ones where you're going to want to lay things like that, and then maybe you could, you know, stick one in front of it like so, you know. Just like that. But you've got, you know, lots of little options for those. And then, again, that one's the envelope on the back, so you can stick things inside of it as well. And I think I would probably go back and, like, right here, let's see. let me find. Let's see what we can find right here. This is a good one right here. All right, let's cut just, whoops, a hair of that off on each end. Now let's okay. You know what? That needs something to make it stand out. Let me okay. Here, let's put some glue on the back of this guy. He needs a little extra glue to stick good. Let's do that. Okay. And then somewhere over here I have some little foam tape. Now I have to be careful. I have sticky scissors and I have scissors I'm not supposed to use with the sticky. I gotta be careful not to need to mark those. Alright, so we got that and we got some foam tape, so let's make that stand up just a little bit there. How about that? Okay, there we go. What do you think? I think that's kind of cute. All right, so do me a favor, go back and check these out and see what you can come up with yourself, and tell me what you think about this little project, and if you might try it yourself. I love to hear your feedback and what you thought, so leave me some comments, please. I appreciate you guys, and I will talk to you soon. Have a great night. Bye.